Fixed my drain plug, it don't leak anymore. I just had it sitting there for about 2.5 hours with that bit of residual oil sitting in the bottom. It's not leaking through anywhere. So we'll do a proper test after lunch. Righty. Back underneath here. Sorry about the noise, it's outside. Possibly going to get noisier. At the back here putting water tanks in. Leveling out the ground. It could be a bit noisy for, well, a couple of days probably. So I don't know how much video I'm going to do. Depends on how noisy it is, I guess. So, just a couple bolts right here. Throw this back in. And there, I think. Needs to be like that. Some way, somehow. Like that, I think. Righty, so just to give you a comparison, just so you get an idea how much I put in this. This is one I haven't opened. It's for that here. So I'll probably get half a litre or half a quart in there, I guess. So hopefully it don't even leaks. I might have to let it down though to let it run to the sump. I don't, to the plug. But yeah, I might let it down and we'll see. So I reckon it's probably just run to the back, but we'll let it down and we should find out whether we've got any leaks or not. Right, morning guys. So I'm just here mainly this morning. Here's the headlamp. Just want to have a quick look underneath that gearbox, make sure we haven't got any other issues, and then I'm going to go around and do some work on the lathe with the headlight stuff. Let's just see what's going on down here, make sure we don't have any new leaks. Don't see any drips in the cardboard, so that's a good start. Ooh. Where's that coming from? So there's no drips on this, and I've just moved this. Put it all there. Which is weird. So it's dry from the plug. So we've got another issue. So I've got no fucking drips there. That's dry as a whistle. It's dripping from somewhere else. Where's it coming from? I just seen a drip. Where is that coming from? Where is that coming from? I don't know. Well, that's fucking handy. That's coming from where the generator bolt's on. Yay. Oh, something else I have to deal with. Well, I'm not going to worry about that in a moment, but yeah, it's dripping out of here. Great. Oh well, these are the things you just don't know until you, at least with some plugs, not dripping. I think I'd rather it be that than that. Because that's going to be a bitch. Because it's, that bolt there is easy and that bolt's easy to get to. Oh, it mightn't be too bad. Won't be too bad, but yeah, it's got a bit of oil down there. Bugger. Oh well. So the sump's not leaking, but I'd rather find that now, I suppose. Anyway, well, we'll go attack what I was going to do. I'll come back to that. Just had some screws turned up, but I could have just went down to the local hardware I bought then. I actually thought they might have been domed head ones. No, look, they've got the slight crown on them. Because that's for these stuff, but they'll be alright, I guess. I just thought they would have been nice if they were just the slightly crowned stuff. See what the owner thinks. Anyway. We'll deal with that later. Right, so we've got that sorted, we think. I'll have to pour a little bit of oil in there, just double check. But I think what's happened was when we were working on the motor, we pulled it off, there was never ever a gasket put in there. And we just bolted it back up, not thinking about it. But yeah, we made just a little gasket. I knew this housing was sitting up there, and I thought, well, that's a damn sight easier than trying to make the gasket. So we brought that down, gave it a quick clean up, made a paper gasket through on there. I'm not sure if you've seen that in the video. Oh no, I can't remember. I did turn the camera on, but I think it might have been part way through. So yeah, we put a little bit of sealant around both sides of the gasket and then put it back on. Well, Dad did, because he's got smaller hands. I could have done it, but yeah, it was just his hands are smaller, so he can get into those bolts a little bit easier. And I've started putting these screws in just to see what they're like. I'm not really happy with them, but it's kind of what I've got at the moment. I would have preferred like a little dome head bolt screw, just something a little nicer than that. Just a little flat stainless steel, not really what I want. And these headlight pieces, I was going to turn up a piece of steel and make something, but that poor old lathe just won't cut anything hard or hardish, if you know what I mean. So this here fits in here. I need to find another one like that. So I might just back cut that slightly and obviously just trim that square back a little bit in the lathe. I'm going to find another one first before I do it. And then I have to drill out the hole for here, because they made this 5/8 originally, but it's a bit of a blessing because this fits this square pretty good. It's not perfect, but it's a good enough, I think, it's good enough to do it. I might be just maybe build up a little bit of weld on the edge and just file it back, and I think it'll be good enough. Oh. Sorry, I had to make a pit stop. I couldn't hold on any longer. So yeah, if I can find one of these, yeah, I might just build up a little bit of weld on the side of one of these edges and just file it back off just to close that gap a little bit, if I have to. Yeah, and we'll just have to turn this down a little bit because it pokes through just a little bit far. If I back cut it just slightly, just put a little bit of taper back in that, just so it'll fit into this a little bit nicer too, so it'll move backwards and forwards a little bit better. Yeah, I'll just have to cut this off so it doesn't foul this. Yeah, and we'll test drilling this hole out to, because it's only 1/2 inch or slightly over 1/2 inch. So I'm going to drill it out to 5/8, but I just want to do this one first. Make sure we don't screw it up, if you know, or doesn't screw up and bust out or something stupid. Before I do the right ones. Well, I could always, be honest, spray these black if I have to. I could always swap the ends over, it wouldn't matter. But yeah, I'm just going to drill these ones out first before I at least do the ones I've already painted. So yeah. So yeah, we'll get that done this afternoon. So yeah, I think we're right with the oil problem now, until we strike the next one possibly, but you never know. So yeah, it's good to have that fixed, and yeah, we'll carry on and we'll catch you after lunch pretty much. I'm going to go see if I can find another one of these. I would have went and found another one, but yeah, Dad was coming around here to give me a hand to do this. Just said, "Oh, do you want a hand?" And I said, "Yeah." So he came around and gave me a hand to do that. And while he was doing that, because you can only really get one person there, I started mucking around with this other stuff, and I picked up a few tools and put them away. If anybody feels generous enough, you can buy me a tool. Just kidding. Oh man, fuck it, I'd love one. Pain in the butt. Anyway, just because you end up tools everywhere, I keep saying. But yeah, very, very happy to have that fixed. Good to have that sump sorted. The plug. I thought it'd be nice to be able to have the original thing, but you know, it's easy enough to get this in and out. Might just have to maybe make up something so it doesn't rattle out now. Should be okay, we'll see. And yeah, we'll go from there, I guess. We'll work it out, but yeah, I need another one of those, so I'll go see if I can find another one, and then we might do a little bit of machine work later on this afternoon. Alrighty, get started on. So we've filled that slot in just a little bit, so that can't turn. Obviously cleaned and ground that up. Halfway reasonably clean these up. I'll give them a sandblast before I paint them, but I just wanted to clean the frickin' worst off. If I hadn't chewed up the roll locks, but like you can see how abused it is, but it's still got some pretty good meat in it. And it'll cut when you want it to cut, if you know what I mean. So that's pretty cool. But this would clean up better if I put a brand new one for sure. It will just tear all this shit off. But now we need to throw this in the lathe. Hopefully I can get it on it the same or almost identical. So I just want to back cut this so it's got a slightly rolled more here, so it will slide round. Slide backwards and forwards a little nicer. It mightn't matter. I might back cut it, but I just want to take this and just trim this back so that square back so it doesn't catch on the piece that goes underneath, so it will clamp up tight. So we might go just pop that in Dad's lathe. Unfortunately I haven't got two at the moment, but we'll soon get another one. It's just I couldn't find one locally. Nobody had one that size. A lot of the places didn't have it's 16mm 5/8 basically, coach bolt. Like the engineers had longer ones and shorter ones, but nothing that length. This is where I got this one from, but unfortunately the longer ones, and they don't have a 5/8 16mm tap or die. I don't think. No, I don't. I don't have a 16mm die that I can cut the thread back off on a longer one, because the next ones were 6 inches long and the thread was out here. It was, you know, I need it into about probably here, I guess, roughly. Like I don't need probably the end frickin' 3/8 of an inch. Really, I'll probably end up cutting it off. Because this here is exposed on the bottom of the headlight, but the headlight base comes around here, so it doesn't add any more material. So that's like that, that's like that. Use this one, because the thing's bent up. That fits on there. So yeah, like this here interferes in here. So I need to cut that back a bit so we can get that bit tight. And then I'll fix that. Because this is just my texture, so I'm not freaking dragging the paint one around. Just a fucking touch tight, that one. Was. Oh. Yeah, slide through now. So yeah, the biggest problem is the I think, double check it, but I think the 3-inch one of these that they had, I'm pretty sure it's too freaking short. Yeah, 3 inches is just too short. It comes through and it's about here, like there's no thread. Whereas I need the 4-inch, because it gives me some thread, you know, and it's, I'll end up cutting some of it off at the end of the day. You know, by the time you get it squeezed up and probably put a little lock washer on there. I'd actually like to cut that off nicely so I can actually put a domed bolt on there, or nut, if I can, with a spring washer underneath. Like, you're not going to see the spring washer, but you're going to see the think. Oh, it does point forward, didn't it? I think. Yeah, because that's the back. Just double check on the other one, but yeah. Be nice just to have a nice chromed or stainless domed nut, so you're not looking at an ugly. Well, if I paint it black, it's not going to be that bad either. But we need to trim that down. Yeah, we need just to knock that down a little bit, probably half-ish. So we'll go do that. Might be almost the end of the day, I think. We'll see what time it is. I do actually have some bolts here, some 5/8 ones, but I've got no nuts. Anyway, we'll see you shortly-ish. Right, morning guys. So welcome back to NZ Marko out at Kuston, so I'll just move my camera around. We fixed our oil yesterday, but I'm not 100% convinced it's fixed. I just think that oil puddle was bigger than what it was yesterday. I'm not sure. I mean, what I'm going to do is I'm going to probably push this back as far as I can. I've got some sawdust and shit there from when we were chopping wood. There's probably a bit more on the bandsaw if I need it. Just to throw on the floor to clean that up. And then once I sort of clean it up, I'll push it back forwards, I guess, or forward a little bit anyway. And we'll just clean down below that generator. It's still, it could be residual from the other day, I don't know. But it's still wet underneath there. So I just don't know. But I'll spray a bit of brake cleaner in there and get a rag in there and give it a good wipe. And we'll just see. Because we put a gasket in there, we put some seal around there, bit of look at that. Oh, we only just used a normal paper gasket. Made out of that. Look, it's not really thick, but you know, it's a gasket, and put a bit of glue on each side of it, mainly around the around where the drive goes for the oil pump. There's no other. It's just a big flat plate, and it just goes around there. So I'm hoping it's not leaking, but I'm not sure. So I'll clean that up. I don't know. I just went through and deleted all my old footage because I put it on the computer. I haven't. It's been messy the last few days. Struggled to get towards editing. But you've got this sorted now. This one bolt, and machined that down a little bit yesterday. I can't remember. Because Dad was talking about, I can't remember if I videoed anything or not. I'm still waiting on another coach bolt, the right size. Nobody had one. So basically what I did, so I'll clean this up and paint it today. So just very mildly took the back edge off this instead of it being quite square. Just rounded the back edge off a little bit. I was contemplating taking more off it, but didn't really need to. Just didn't want a sort of a square edge on it. I just thought that would just help it slip backwards and forwards if needed. You know what I mean? To get our position right, just so it felt better, I guess. Just slide a wee bit nicer than a hard edge. And that square on this come down all the way down to here. You can see I've machined it off. We machined that off so it would clear into here, because this is stepped down. So it was catching, it was hitting on here before it would clamp. You know what I mean? With the pressure, like it was hitting here, so this was always loose. So now it should be fine. And that's like a 16mm bolt, or basically 5/8. They're almost the same size. It's a bit like a 10mm is almost 3/8, if you know what I mean. They're kind of the same. 1/2 inch is basically 13mm. 11mm is kind of 7/16. They're all within a ballpark. Like 9/16 is basically 14mm. I know it's not, but yeah, it's the close equivalent, if you know what I mean. And 16 is basically 5/8. 17mm is basically 11/16, yeah, and quarter is or 3/4 is basically 19mm, and so on. You know what I mean? Like they're the main ones. You know, but basically, you know, you can almost use one spanner for the other for the nuts most of the time, not all the time. And the bolts are similar, very similar size. They're not exactly the same. The threads aren't the same, but that's sort of the equivalent, you know. So, like if that was Imperial, it would be 5/8 bolt basically, and 4 inches long. So yeah, I just couldn't get one yesterday. Yeah, they were either 150mm long or 6 inches, or 3 inches long, and 3 inches long is just not long enough, and then the 150mm long, the thread doesn't go back far enough, and I'd have to cut it off, but then I don't have a 16mm or a 5/8 tap or die to recut the thread. So I was fucking screwed either way. In the old lathe, Dad's lathes, it's not really set up for cutting threads. You could, but you don't have the tooling to do it properly, you know what I mean? Like the old girls, just it's not set up to do it. You could, I think. You bug around. There's a whole heap of gears that you can change around in it and get it, but it's not accurate enough. It's too much planer. It needs, it really needs a few bits going through. It wouldn't be a bad old girl with a better motor on it, better electric motor, and possibly, I don't know whether you just a better belt drive system, some sort of better belt, and a bit more better grunt. Like the motor, it needs to be probably 3-phase, not single. Yeah, and probably just change the tooling head, put a electronic pickup on it, on the slides, and it needs the in and out on it. It needs redone. It's quite worn. The actual the worm on it, it's quite worn. But apart from that, it's not a bad old lathe, you know. If it had a decent cutting head on it, you know, and put up one of those electronic converters on it, so you actually get like a little digital readout, and a half decent motor on it, that you could maybe spin a bit faster, it wouldn't be a bad old lathe, you know. It'd be quite handy for small stuff, but it's all right, but it's underpad, and it's just a bit worn, and it's got no measurements on it, if you know what I mean, which makes it difficult. You just got to keep measuring stuff, whereas if you had a digital readout and you could wind it in, you knew you were coming in, you know, whatever, 2 or 3 thou points, whatever of a millimeter, or you got to come in there and cut 5 mils off that. Well, you know that you can come in and cut 5 mils off, but if you got to stop and keep measuring and everything like that, yeah, it's just slow, and it just hasn't got enough grunt to cut properly either. You know, big cuts, it just trips the motor out or slips the belt. You know, like a better belt system, or yeah, a better motor so you can actually really pull the belt up. You know, it will keep driving, would make a hell of a difference to it. But it's not bad for just making little bushes and bits and pieces, you know. It's handy, really fucking handy. But yeah, it'd just be nice if we just have a little grunt. But we'll get this cleaned up. And then, yeah, probably not going to have that bolt today, but it's no biggie. I haven't got the bright work here yet anyway, but I was just trying to get some of these pieces sorted. You know, we're getting close and we're running out of bits to do. I thought that Dodge might have been here. It may turn up today because I'm not going to be here tomorrow. I want to go to this car show. Finally got the Ford back. Ford sorted. Weird. We don't really know. We think what happened was we got a pressure gauge. It was a 3,600 psi pressure gauge to test the pump. So we cut up the original hose off the car and made a fitting for it to hook up to this gauge with the high pressure line on it, and hooked that up to the pump. And because I was talking to a guy and he said it's about 1100 odd psi, 1500 psi. He said he couldn't remember exactly, but it's in that ballpark. So we found a gauge. Luckily we're family engineers, so my cousin, he's actually does a lot of the hydro dam stuff. So he's always fixing dams and generators. Well, he does all the generator stuff, so he's always playing with that sort of stuff. So he said, oh, I've got a gauge here, here, borrow that for a couple of days and see if you can work it out. And as soon as we hooked that pressure gauge up to it and started the car, after we charged the battery because it got a bit flat, the pump came up to pressure and was fine. We were like, oh, it must work. Backed up and fucking away it went. So whether it was weird. It's probably been a problem all along. It probably really needed like a blanking hose put off on it, on the pressure side, crank the car up and make it build pressure, and like obviously then the relief valve would come off and it would pump back through, just keep pumping through the system, but it would build the pressure up till it couldn't get any more. And that just obviously seemed to bleed the pump. And I wonder if that's been our problem all along. And it just, as soon as we hooked it up, went perfect. It's like, well, fuck. But yeah, it wasn't until we done that and actually had full pressure on it and the oil couldn't go anywhere. Whereas when it was going to the rack, it was just obviously cycling it, and it just, for some reason, wasn't, I don't know, bleeding the pump or making something work to get the fluid to pump through at full pressure, if you know what I mean, which was 1500 psi, is what it came up to on the gauge and just sat there. Even when it cranking, Dad said it just flipped to 1500, and as soon as it started up, it just stayed there. So it's obviously what the pressure rating is, and worked fine. And it's like, oh, the pump works, we'll hook it back up and we'll try it. And it's like, well, fucked if I know. But that's the only thing we can think of. It needed that, basically the oil not to be able to go anywhere, and just put that pump under full load, and obviously just bleed the system, or make this whole system work in that pump properly. And then as soon as we hooked it back up, fine, topped her up, full, and it's like, well, fucking works now. So we'll know that for next time if we ever have to deal with one. But yeah, I'll do a separate little video on it, because if anybody ever has that fucking same problem, that's what they need to do. Because like we were going to buy another pump, so well, maybe that pump's fucked, but no, it's perfectly quiet, dead silent. So I don't know, weird, just fucking weird. Right, so I've got this here welded back down now, so that bolt's in there permanently. So I'm just actually trying to find what I did with the nut really for this. So what I'm going to do, so I don't want this frickin' ½ inch of thread hanging out the bottom. So I probably will put a spring washer in there. Take it this way. So, Some box of bigger stuff. Yeah, I'll probably do. Two of those. So yeah, what I'll do is I'll clamp this up underneath here, tighten it up, and then I'll just trim off, and I'll just leave about a thread hanging at the bottom. I won't clamp it up tight, just sort of finger tightish, well, a bit over finger tight. So the spring's half collapsed up. So I don't want to be looking at that, you know, that bit of thread there, or all of it, if you know what I mean. A little bit of hanging out the bottom's alright, but and then I will sandblast all this shit. Now I've given that a decent wire brush and clean down, and yeah, and then we'll give this a coat of etch. It shouldn't be too bad. That's it. It was loose. We don't have to take that much off the bottom. I just don't want it long. I don't want it sticking out too much, because I wouldn't mind getting a nice big dome head nut like some of the other ones and put underneath if I can. Get a couple big 16mm ones. Just knit this off, and then yeah, we'll do this up so it's nice and tight. But yeah, just don't want to wear thread. A couple, one thread at the bottom's all right, but I don't want a heap of it. Just doesn't look nice. You know what I mean? At least when we give this a quick sandblast, give this nut a bit of a sandblast, even though it is galved, and then we can etch it and blow a coat of paint on all this stuff. Don't see this anyway. We'll see a little bit of it at the bottom of it, but it'll be right. And I think that black rattle can black will be fine on this for all you're going to see of it. It's fairly shiny. It bleeds in pretty well. Like that hood lock, you can't really even tell. That's not 2-pack. I think it'll be fine. Where it is, it'll be fine, I think. I'll give it a couple of 3 good coats and paint all the stuff. I'm not worried about this, but I'll just use it to paint these brackets. Yeah, we'll go from there. So yeah, I'll get that one sorted out, and then when we get the other bolt, we can sort the other one out and paint that. But at least this gives me something to do in the meantime. I'll carry on swapping some screws over and whatever, and that all stuff probably will have to come up anyway, but I'll at least put the screws in it. And whatever. Trying to see if there's any oil left. I can't see any more. Maybe it was just the residual that was left there from the other day. Actually, I probably should just pour another wee bit in there and just see if it leaks. I cleaned it all up there before. Wow, I put some sawdust and cleaned the worst, soaked the worst of it up. I'll give it a proper clean later on. But yeah, we'll carry on. Righty, so just to test to make sure we don't have any leaks, I just poured probably another cup fullish into this thing, just to see, because I just got some brake clean on a rag. I gave the rag a pretty good dose, and I give that a good wipe underneath, so it should be fairly cleanly now. I think, yeah, that's any, if there is any residue, it's probably just a little bit of residue, but from earlier on. But I just poured it in there to let it sit in that bit, the oil pumpy thing, how it goes back into the block, because it sort of runs back in through here. So it's kind of, the oil probably sort of sits in there a bit before it sort of runs in, I guess. So it'll tell me whether it's leaking or not. And I'm just mucking around, changing some screws. I just thought I'd do that while I was thinking about it. And I'm about to put another coat of paint here. And then I'm going to shoot away and do a couple of messages and come back. Not quite sure, it might be after lunch at this point, because the young fellas having pet day at school, so I've got to go pick up some shit from them, take it back home. But yeah, so that'll let me know whether if there's any drips in the ground. I know it's something still leaking, so that's cool. But I'll give this a quick coat of paint and then I'll go sort family stuff out, and we'll catch you after. Cheers. Right, welcome back to NZ Marko Kustoms again. So this morning, have a bit of a shuffle around, make some space, because that 24 Dodge should be here this afternoon, if not late this morning. I'm not exactly sure when it's going to turn up, but it's going to be here sometime today, is the plan. So I just need to clear some of this crap away from the door. I'll shuffle these two little tables back a bit, get that bench sort of tucked over there a little bit, and whatever, I can drag that crane over in here somewhere. It doesn't matter if it gets pushed around a little bit in here, out of the road in the meantime, and then hopefully it won't be too long before the stuff turns up for this, so we can actually get this together. Like I'm talking the chrome and the wiring. Another 2 or 3 weeks, and this hopefully will be pieced back together. But yeah, we're going to get that Dodge in here, doing a good assessment on it, and then we can start pulling it down and working what needs to be done to the body to paint, basically repaint it, the body, and clean the chassis up and paint it, and obviously go from there. Probably, I can't remember if it's on steel wheels or wooden wheels and whatever, but yeah, like that's all going to be have a tart up and a repaint and fix a bit of rust and whatever. And the upholstery won't be done, and all that sort of stuff. That's going to be done later by somebody else. But yeah, I'm basically just doing rust repair and bodywork and paint. I'm not doing any mechanicals. I'm not fixing any problems with the suspension or motor or anything like that, unless it really needs done to make it, well, to be able to be mobile. But yeah, I'm basically just making it look nice again. And then, as far as I know, it should be a reasonable driving car. It's a real survivor. But yeah, he wants to repaint it, so we're going to repaint it. It's been brush painted at some stage in its life, if you know, like it's not original paint. It's been painted sometime way back in the 60s, probably by brush or something like that. So yeah, he wants to take all that paint off, and I think it's either going to be back to possibly the original colour, which was that real deep navy blue, or that may be some other colour, I don't know. But it'll be black and whatever, if you know what I mean. So yeah, but it was, well, in theory it's in better condition than this was. Not as beaten up as what this was, and more complete. So yeah, but anyway, I need to carry on with this. So we'll get this all stuff cleaned up and make some space, and yeah, hopefully we'll get it in here in a couple of 3 hours time, and then I can work out what I can do to it, and try and make some space to pull some parts off in the meantime, and go from there. We've got some other goodies here for this too. Let's quickly bring it over here. So we've got all for the diff, and for the gearbox, and some pull brake light switch for that. Apparently very common. Got some more screws for some stuff. Some hardware for these, and hopefully some nuts for the bottoms of the headlights brackets. These here should be for this. I'll check that later on. We'll just clean up, we'll check that. I'm still waiting for the other bolt for this to turn up, but that'll be nicer than that. You know what I mean? So yeah, we'll carry on. We'll get this stuff cleaned up. I think it's more important than mucking around with this. We're going to get that car in here, so we'll straighten up here, get a lot of that crap over there somewhere, tidy, and make some space. Right, so I got all this cleaned up. Hopefully we can get that car in here anyway, at least till we start pulling it apart and assessing it. So I'm just looking at what we got over here. So I might have a look at this and all these here are for here, for those when we put them together. This is our felt. I wonder how wide that is. It doesn't look like it's terribly wide, does it? But it doesn't matter. So that should be plenty enough to make that seal up. I got some screws, and I knew I needed extra couple for here, for these, but I'm just not sure what he's doing here. Because we got all these ones here the other day, all those ones, which we're putting here, which I don't particularly like. It's alright. So I'll put a screw in there. They're alright, but they're not really what I would like. Kind of, these here would have been better. But I think these are actually I think this is actually smaller. I think. Is it smaller than that? Well, it might be the same. So there's a couple more screws for here. I can't put these in here because of the wrong thread, obviously. But yeah, I don't know why you got quite so many. If you'd actually got enough to do all the floor stuff, I would have put them in there. But they're probably a bit long for that. Because I actually would have swapped these out for these. These would have been way nicer in here. It's a shame he didn't get more. I thought those were for these, which I think they are. What he got them for, but I just can't work out why I got so many of these, if you know what I mean. You need a couple extras. We're only a couple short. Yeah, and they won't fit. Won't fit in these because of these machine screws. So I'm not quite sure why I got so many, but it doesn't matter. A few spares won't go hurt. So I'll drill these in here. If these are slightly smaller, I might swap a couple over, because there is the old one that's got a bit tatty. I'll screw them in, but don't actually need to screw them harder. But these are going to come off anyway, so there's no biggie. Just got to put the little collars around here when I get them back. So yeah, I'll do a couple of bits and pieces like this. The nut, these nuts fit here, but not quite sure what happened here the other day, because I gave him the nut off the back of here to get some little acorn nuts for here. It's just to dress this up a little bit, and the other bolts that were into there were a different thread. They were coarse, not fine. But he ended up with he couldn't get 1/4 inch nuts to fit these, so he just got 6mm, which is basically 1/4 inch. But yeah, he got 6mm nuts for these two, but they won't fit because they're 1/4 inch fine. So these no good to me, unless I can tap them. I might try. So I can put them on there. Yeah, because I don't know if we can get 1/4 inch ones. We'll have to. We'll do a wee bit more research on that. But yeah, I might just see if I can run a 1/4 inch fine tap in them. Just to see if I can wind them on. Which is a bit of a bummer. So yeah, and I'm not worried about putting those bolts in them yet. I could do and shorten them all up, I guess. Yeah, might be better off to wait till the material's on them, and then they can be shortened up. Just leave like might just put them together with just the normal bolts that we had in, and then when we get this back from upholstery, or we can give them to these guys and they can fit them. Because I don't want to make them too short, and then they're just a bit shy for getting them on with a bit extra thickness on there. You know, you don't want to make them too short and then they rattle around, but you don't want them too long either, or then too short and then you can't get them on with a couple of layers of fabric on there, or canvas, or whatever ends up, you know, in amongst all that. So yeah, don't think we'll fit them until then. So yeah, I'll get these couple of screws in here, and yeah, might see if I can make them 1/4 inch thread. I don't know if that'll work or not for those, because I was just going to take the little washers off and give them a quick spray with some black, and then put those on. But yeah, they're the wrong thread. Anyway, and then at some point I'll make a bracket and we'll fit that up underneath. And yeah, there's a wiring going on. Oh, it might be on each thing, is it? I don't know. I'll have to have a look. Yeah, I'm trying to turn it around so I can have a look in there, but it's like it's sealed, isn't it? Weird. Thought I would have had wiring on this somewhere. Switch pull on. Stop playing with spring. Yeah, we'll do a couple of jobs and then I'll make up a bracket. I'll work out a bracket to fit that up underneath the car and hook onto that spring. At least then when the wiring's in here, this can be hooked up to it and whatever, and go from there. Right, so I got a couple of extra screws in here. Still like to pull them down a little bit tighter. I really need to try and get a screwdriver that fits as good as that, but not as wide. And my other screwdriver is just a bit loose in these screws. I actually just wound two into here instead of having these. It's kind of hard to tell the difference, but I think it's just more fitting of what should be here instead of those flat things. So I think there was 24, I think I counted. So I think was there 11 in the front. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, so for some reason, yeah, I just can't work out what he got them. Yeah, I don't know. It's weird. He ordered them, and then he came back with these. I know we needed a couple, but I just can't really account for the reason we work out why he bought so many. But now I wish he bought more, because I'd like to change those for those. I might just leave a couple in there and just see what he thinks. Like it can't be hard to grab a couple more to throw on these back ones. I think they're nicer, and at least then they're the same as these, if you know what I mean. So yeah, I think that's probably what we'll do. I don't know, they're just nicer. They've just got that little curved edge too. So if you pull them down nice and hard, even if they are not 100% square, because they're curved, they don't quite show it so much. They don't show that they're not, and they're 100% dead square, if you know what I mean. This is a real pain in the ass with these things. You can see that one there looks like it's slightly wonky, whereas that one there is slightly wonky, but it doesn't look much different to that one. Like that one there is slightly wonky because you can't get in there. It's very easy to drill a pilot hole. So yeah, we might end up changing them all out. Yeah. Anyway, we'll carry on. And I'll muck around with this stuff. I might play with a couple of nuts now. See if I can make them fit at least. And what am I going to do after that? Oh, you've got that brake light switch. We'll try and make up something for that too. But I'll see if I make these two nuts fit this first. I don't know, we'll see if we can get them to rethread. Why not?